In a recent debate that you did, you said something very fascinating, also quite amusing. You said there's a lot of pressure within the industries to just use or cram in some sort of AI whenever possible, even if it doesn't make any sense within that
Yeah,
context, because businesses don't want to be seen as old fashioned. Could you talk
yeah,
about that a little bit?
yeah. I can tell you a story of there was this guy who works for a startup in the accounting field. They built accounting software, and he called me to say, "Look, I need you to help me find a use case, something we can do with LLMs, with ChatGPT, because we're trying to raise funding from a venture capitalist, and we can't tell them that we're not using AI for something, right? So that they just wanted to put it in there, right?" Um, I've also seen companies hire a team of 60 people because they thought AI is cool. We need to do something with it. We don't know what, but we're going to put a team together to see what we can do with AI. And they just hire a lot of people and they don't even know what they're going to build. They've never spoken with a potential user to the thing that they may build. So yeah, I think there's a lot of putting the cart before the horse in the industry. So AI is great. And they've been doing this for a long time. Even before the ChatGPT thing. I started speaking about this before that happened. Is stop with this whole we need to be AI driven. We need because it doesn't usually end well. These projects tend to go wrong when you decide you want to use AI first, which is the opposite from good engineering, where you have a problem and then you find the solution for it. They do it the other way around. They have the solution, they're trying to find the problem for it. I think it happens a lot, lot. Yeah.
So maybe all of those people that are going to be losing their jobs in various industries can maybe just go into AI and get themselves like a nice little corner in some office and then pretend to build some sort of AI machine to.
Yeah, I've been that person, and that's what made me write this book. I was very frustrated because I had a job where we had built a product. They built the product before I joined, but then I kind of improved the product. It was an AI based product that didn't work, and it would never work because we didn't have the data necessary for it. It was just impossible to really have it do what it had to do.
May I ask what kind of industry this was?
So no,
Okay,
but
fair enough.
I can tell
Fair is
you.
fair.
Yeah, because I've told a story in my book. I prefer not to share who
Okay,
they were.
yeah,
But what I could tell you, it was a very big company
all
that
right.
you've heard of, and it was a product that tried to help executives make business decisions, important decisions, like firing people, that kind of stuff. And they wanted to use AI for this because, hey, AI is, the best. We need to do this in a data-driven way, and we want to have this AI system that will make recommendations for us. But the problem is that we didn't have data with enough scenarios, let's say, to actually be able to produce those recommendations. And they kind of made us fake it. Like we kind of had to fake it. At one point, a colleague sent me an Excel file with results to just swap it with another file that I generated. Just like, let's pretend that these were the results because the AI was outputting things that were pretty obviously not right. So we even added a layer outside the system to correct the outputs so that they match what executives had already kind of decided. So they had this tool that there's this AI giving them fake evidence to support the decisions that they made, right? And so that was quite disturbing. We were in a meeting and this executive would say like, but I used your system and it said that I should, hire a team of 10 people here. But I actually downsized that branch of the business a few months ago. So I actually reduced the size. Why is this contradicting me? And then my supervisors would be like, there may be a bug in the system. Let's check. And then I kind of had to override the system to output what they wanted to hear.
Like retroactively, you're correcting its past wrong predictions.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes. Yeah. We were doing that. And it was very disturbing. And I almost didn't work even at all because I had very little work to do because the system, everybody knew it was broken, but they had to keep the AI engineers around, to pretend that we were building something amazing. They called me a rocket scientist once after I gave a talk presenting my system. They were like, it's like we're speaking with rocket scientists. And I was like, yeah, but I know that this actually doesn't work. So, and it was soul draining. And I remember I hated that job, and it wasn't the first time it happened. I've seen this a lot, building products that don't work and then pretending a lot. And this was during COVID. And a lot of people are like, you can't resign. You can't quit a job right now because you don't know if you're going to find another job. It's such a terrible time, so I kind of followed that, and at one point, after a long time, like almost a year and a half working for that company, I remember I saw a career coach. That's how confused I was, because everybody told me your situation is great. You barely work. You're paid good money. Everybody's losing their job. And I saw this career coach to help me, this, again, first world problems kind of thing. I saw a career coach, and she told me, look, Emmanuel, it's absolutely normal that you feel really badly about this, because you are being ethically compromised. It's actually a good thing that you want to quit this job. Not wanting to stay with it is a healthy thing. That you want to leave. And then I resigned from that job. I got another one, which was very early on. I saw it was pretty much the same. I was like, very early on. It was like a temp project. It lasted a certain amount of time, but very early on, it's like, okay, you built this product. You thought it, because it happens a lot that people actually make mistakes. It's not on purpose. They built AI thinking it makes great predictions, because you're often biased toward finding, like, if you give the wrong data to AI, you may think it discovers something when it doesn't. And it was the situation. And I corrected the system, and all of these amazing predictions were all bogus. They were not real predictions. The system was actually cheating to make those predictions. And I realized it was, again, the same story. And then I decided I'm going to take some time off, because I've been stumbling upon these projects too many times. Not always. I've done some, good work in AI where we build things that actually, added value and stuff. And that's when I decided to write my book, because I started gathering my thoughts, speaking with people, and I was like, I need the world to know that this field is completely overhyped. And behind every successful project, there are many. There are like maybe 100 that are like this, and that's why I wrote the book. Yeah.
Did the emperor's new clothes moment kind of happen in any of these companies? Did you go like, I can't take it anymore, I gotta tell them that this is all pretty much BS? Or were they didn't even want to be kind of awakened from that slumber?
It's a very good question. I tend to be as honest as I can, in general. Yeah, I try to be quite transparent. There was one company where I can tell you, where me and a colleague, so we kind of found something fishy, something this is not working the way we said it's been working, and the team had been expanded based on these results. This is what happens a lot. You create a bad experiment. It shows that AI is great, even if it's not. But because everybody's biased toward, they believe AI is going to solve every problem. The moment they see a little bit of evidence, they're like, oh, let's hire 15 more people. And then the team had grown. And then with my colleague, we find that probably the experiment was all the results are invalid, and we approached the company. So we told, our managers, and we did bring kind of a solution. We also said, okay, we're going to propose a way to fix the experiment, to rerun it, because otherwise that's also something I noticed. If you just go and complain, and people don't take you very seriously, so you need to kind of come with a solution. And there was a bit of resistance at first, from the company to actually fix it, because it was I think it was convenient not to fix it. And we put our foot down, especially my colleague. She was very, very blunt. She was like, the only thing I'm going to do with these results is throw them out, put them in the garbage can. And then we managed to rerun the experiments, and the results were not as good as we thought they would be, but they were still okay. So AI was adding some value to the company. But I think you can meet resistance, and it depends on the company. Sometimes the problem is so deep that it's very hard for people to, to do anything about it. And a lot of people, I've met a lot of people that told me, look, I'm paying off my mortgage at the moment. I have 3 kids.
Of course.
I don't want to threaten my job, right? And I think that might be one of the reasons these projects last so long. When I worked for this company that I told you before, the one I resigned from, and I saw the career coach and stuff, I went for drinks with colleagues after work, once, and someone said, we haven't done anything of value in our team for 2 years. We've only outputted, bullshit. When do you think they're going to scrap our team? When are they going to get rid of our team? So it was explicit. People knew. It was not like it was a secret that we hadn't done anything of value. What I have seen is that after a while, these projects they tend to fall into oblivion. So people don't want to explicitly acknowledge in a company, look, this was all a red herring. This was not working. We spent millions and millions. I've hired 70 people to do this. So they kind of let the team die away, or they're just going to do maintenance, nothing new. And then people get bored and they resign and they don't replace them. Or they lower the budget, assigned to a certain project for the next year. So that's why we also get such a survivorship bias, because you only hear about the great stories, and all the other ones, they're swept under the rug. Yeah.
Hey guys, this is a tiny podcast. There's no sponsors, no production team, and no editors. It's just little old me. And as such, the pod is at the mercy of you lovely folks watching and listening. So please do subscribe on YouTube, follow on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. Also, I don't want to sell you some stupid mug or something that you don't need. So if you can, and most of all, if you want, please support me on Patreon. Now, at this point, I have to express my eternal gratitude to the pillar of the Smart Cookies community, and that's my patrons on Patreon. As always, without you comrades, this show wouldn't exist. You better believe it. So massive thanks to Strole, Aida, Mancian, Micha Medved, Medinho, Goran, Gordan, Lorenzo, Jurečuk, Mila, Taichi, Veronica, and Carmen. Thank you.